He was born and raised in these Brooklyn streets, a man who, more than any other, came to symbolize a new American breed, the gangsters. He believed in the promised land. He pursued the American dream. And he was to set up an organization that became the template for the mob. He was Al Capone. Capone was not an immigrant, but his family had come from Naples. And like other children from immigrant homes, Capone soon found himself running with street gangs.
All these gangs had junior divisions. Capone, at age 13, 14, he was a member of two gangs simultaneously. The 5 Point Juniors in Manhattan, and also the South Brooklyn Rippers in his own area of Fourth Avenue and Garfield Place.
In his youth, Capone worked here in Coney Island, then is now a favorite weekend destination for New Yorkers with money in their pockets and fun on their minds. Capone's job? Bouncer in a bar called the Hawthorne Inn. Capone's boss was a local hood with mafia connections, Frankie Yale. Acting the role of mentor and godfather, Yale took the young Capone under his wing.
Al Capone was Frankie Yale's student, star student.
Yet Capone was to make his name not in New York, but in a city 800 miles to the west, Chicago. Chicago was a wild town, a boom town. A man could get rich quick here if he had energy and enthusiasm, and if he was handy with his fist or a gun. Capone was. Through a local connection, the future big fellow got his big break in 1919. Local racketeer and nightclub owner Big Jim Colosimo needed a bodyguard for himself and his young wife. Johnny Torrio was Big Jim's number 2. He knew Capone from New York and gave him the job. It was the start of a partnership that would change the shape of American organized crime. By the time he was 24 years old, Al Capone was the biggest name in gangland. By then, his face had been marked in a vicious brawl, and he had acquired the nickname by which he has gone down in history, Scarface. Capone became the first true gangland czar. He was a larger-than-life figure, and he made an indelible impression on all who met him. And Hollywood came to love Capone. He had all the ingredients to make him an underworld star. Actor Rod Steiger played Capone in the first full-blown film biography of the mobster. In 1924, Torrio fell victim to a drive-by shooting. Badly wounded and badly shaken, he quit the rackets. Capone now had a shot at the big time, control of Chicago. Like other gangsters, he had endured years of squalor, years of petty crime, years of mindless muscle. But unlike other gangsters, Capone had learned that honeyed words and greased palms could be just as effective as the blackjack and the gun. It's what made him special.
I like to think that Capone was different because he was a sort of a multi-dimensional gangster. He was not someone who simply understood profits and mayhem. He had some depth to him. He had a public relations ability. He was able to attract even editors and reporters to his cause, as he put it, delivering whiskey to a populace that desperately wanted whiskey and entertainment. So in many ways, he was a very astute business person.
His instinct for public relations was the key to Capone's success. Unlike the Mafia, a Sicilian's only operation, Capone employed anyone with talent. In ethnically divided gangland, it was a smart move. Capone did things the American way. He was a byproduct of immigration and the quest for the promised land.